Hi, I'm Claire Kazansky. I'm going to walk through the vegetation sampling protocol for our Rangeland Health Project. To get started, here's the list of materials that you'll need for the vegetation sampling. Your meter squared PVC quadrat, your cardboard percent cover reference squares, there will be 3 of these, your data sheet, a camera or a phone camera, a small whiteboard, and a dry erase marker. Big picture, the vegetation sampling is going to consist of 2 main components. First, you'll be estimating the percent cover of different cover types. We have 6 cover types to focus on: bare ground, rhizomatous grasses, bunch grasses, forbs, shrubs, and litter. And then you'll be identifying the dominant species in the plot and estimating the cover of that species. Now, this sampling is our vegetation sampling, and it will occur at all 6 of the plots at each transect. So let's dive into percent cover in a bit more detail and walk through how we'll be doing this. For percent cover, we'll be using different classes. The reason here is it can be hard to calibrate from one person to another, especially if they're sampling in different locations. And research has shown that it can be very hard for individuals to sync up, or even with themselves over time, the difference, say, between 4% and 5% cover of a species. So we'll be using these Daubenmeier cover classes in our percent estimates. So in estimating the percent cover of a plot, you'll be indicating whether the cover type is covering 0 to 5%, 5 to 25%, 25 to 50%, 50 to 75%, 75 to 95%, or 95 to 100%. All right, so let's walk through some strategies for estimating cover. The first is bundling. So to do this, you can imagine that you can look at the plot and identify the different examples of a certain cover type, say bare ground. And then you can visually kind of imagine putting them all into one corner of the plot, clumping them together, and then estimate the size, the percent cover of that bundle. Another strategy is to build up. So in this case, you can look at all the examples of that cover type. Again, we'll use bare ground as an example. And then look at the percent cover of each of the examples of that bare ground and add them together, or build up to get your total estimate of cover of bare ground in the plot. Another strategy is to subtract. So in some cases, a certain cover type might be so pervasive that it's actually easier to subtract from 100% than build up. So in this case, you can just subtract the areas of the plot that's not covered by that cover type. Again, using our bare ground example, the areas that are not covered by bare ground. So that will give you the total estimate of your cover type of focus. Another thing that can be very helpful is using the visual aids that we've provided. So we have cardboard reference squares that are cut to known percentages, 1%, 5%, and 10%. We recommend you using these as aids in any of the strategies you employ, bundling, building up, or subtracting, to help make sure that your percent cover estimates are accurate. So to review, some good strategies can be bundling, building up, subtracting, and using the visual aids. Now, it's important to note that different strategies will work really differently for different people, so we recommend you practicing on a couple plots before getting started and using these different strategies to find what works best for you. The other recommendation we have is to coordinate with the person you're working with. So even if one person is doing all of the sampling, we recommend at the very beginning spending some time calibrating with each other so that you can make sure the estimates are likely to be more representative. Thanks, and have fun with your vegetation sampling.